Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. And it is your girl, Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, and I am the CEO and founder of the Slay to Success. Now, some of you are wondering again, what is Slay to Success? Well, I'll let you know that Slate to Success is moving, all right, and it is slaying. It is a leadership and transformational consulting service business, and it is to help mid to senior level professional women who have recently arrived in a position of leader, who are getting ready to go into a leadership role, or who are transitioning from a 20 plus year career to step up and step into their own personal brand with 10x confidence. And yes, we are going to be talking a little bit about branding and what that all means, because sometimes we're getting mixed up. We don't know. We're not quite sure, but we're going to clear that up for you tonight. Okay. Now, I offer keynote speaking services, one-on-one consultations, group consultations, leadership development training courses, also women empowerment events and meetups. And here recently, I added a mastermind. So, all these things, y'all, okay, all the things that Slate to Success is doing can be found on the QR code. Okay, so here is the QR code. I also dropped the link into the comments. All right, so that way you can see those for yourself. You can peruse. There are so many things in there. There's, again, mastermind, meetups, personal branding tips, woman leadership tips, my book, if you would like to read that and find out more about what Slay to Success really means. I also have a YouTube channel. Okay, so there is plenty enough for you to kind of look at and kind of see. So I'll keep this up for a hot second, but the purpose of this talk show is to highlight women and men who are living a life of service on their own terms, okay? And using the slave philosophies to positively impact the world. So before we get this thing going, okay, let me remove this here out of the way so I can see who is here in the building, okay? If you are here viewing, please drop your name, where you're viewing in from, so that I can see you and give you a shout out. Okay, so I don't want anybody to say, oh, I got on her show and she didn't recognize I was there. Nope, that's not what we're doing. So if you're here, welcome again. Tell us your name and where you're streaming in from and put it into the comments. Also, do not be afraid to share. Okay, share this out with your colleagues, your friends, your family, anyone who you think would benefit from this discussion, because we're going to have a big discussion tonight. I'll just say, my guest, look, there's a lot to be said, but I'll tell you, we're going to have a full conversation. Now, what does the word slay mean again? It means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly. All right, to dream and work hard until you own it. And we're just not dreaming, y'all. We dreaming big. All right, and we're getting after it. Hey, Vanity, welcome in, my queen. She is streaming from Maryland. She is right up the road from me, about 20 minutes away. So thank you so much, Vanity, for being here tonight. And so she knows what the SLAY is all about. It's also an acronym, y'all. All right. So the S stands for stay ready to be ready, because preparation plus opportunity equals success. The L stands for lead out loud, and leading with certain characteristics such as discipline, integrity, character, humility, and courage. A is for a sense of family, really creating a psychologically safe environment and belonging environment within and around you. And then last, you are built to last. Always believe in yourself and never quit living in the core values that are most important to you. Okay, so we moving out. All right, so I'm super excited for the SLAYMAZING conversation that we're going to have on tonight's Slay to Success talk show. So if you're coming in, make sure you put it into the comments that you're here listening in, so that way we can give you a shout out. So my queen, all right, who's in the building tonight, her name is Shevvy Mac, y'all. All right, she is in the building. She is a retired Air Force veteran after serving 22 years. That's right, 22 plus years in combat environments, mentoring and leading individuals at all levels around the world. While in the military, she spent the majority of her career in hospitality and management, overseeing fitness, food, and lodging operations, along with hosting and directing diverse events to support distinguished visitors and thousands of customers. She is now the founder and CEO of Mac Leadership Academy, and her company provides several services. Her company partners with businesses and organizations to further develop their women leaders and their teams to excel in their current and future roles. In addition, her company provides training, coaching, and consulting services to help business owners shift their mindset, leadership, and well being using her 4M leadership framework. Shevvy also supports women business owners to build out their structural curriculum program to attract clients into their program. She is the host of the Go Beyond Management podcast, where she shares her leadership insights to help women leaders shift from managing to truly leading. She understands what it takes to build a career, a business while raising a family. This queen is a mom of three, y'all. Okay, she's got a pre-care, a middle schooler, and a freshman in college. I'll give her big ups for that because I don't know. Okay, that's a lot. When she is not working on her business, she is spending time with her family, dancing, cooking, exercising, and laughing. Okay, so please welcome to the stage, to the Zoom, if you will, my guest for tonight, Miss Shevvy Mac.
Hey, Rochelle. Thank you for having me. And hello, everyone. Hopefully, you're having a great evening. That was a lot.
Girl, you sent it to me. So, like, if you send stuff to me, I'll give you proper respect due. I'm like, yeah, that is a lot. And
Yeah.
so, you know what? When you hear that, right? And you go, what am I really doing? You're doing a lot, my queen.
Yes.
You
But you
know?
know what? Even though it's a lot, is the things that I love doing. So,
Yes.
and as you were reading, I was like, wow, like, okay. And with the three kids, it's like, girl. Trust me, I'm the same. Like, oh, what was I thinking? But
Yeah.
no, it's all good.
Okay, so for all of you here, we're going to just share with you how well I'll share with you how we met, and what our relationship is as of today. So I had a group, it's called the Slay to Success Facebook community. And in that community, there was probably about 800 or so women in that community. And in there, I was, giving, pep talks, if you will, motivations. I was pushing out posts and so forth. And here comes Shevvy in the comments all the time, into the comments. And I was like, who is this girl? She is always in here supporting me. I don't know what is happening here, but I'm here for it. So after a little bit, it just so happened that, we got onto a phone call, and then we just started talking about our businesses because, as you can hear, our businesses are in alignment. All right. Leadership, wellness, and mindset. I mean, those are the core of our businesses. So as we started to talking, we just took it to the phone. Okay, so now we are accountability partners. What does this mean? Every single day, we get onto the phone in Messenger and we tell one another what we're doing, how we're doing it. We got personal things that are getting it, that we talk about because it's part of our business too. So that is essentially our relationship right now. And the fact of the matter is that we have a lot of things in common.
A lot. It's like we are sisters from different misters and different moms because we are so similar in our drive, our ambitious, family, our health. Yes, it's crazy.
It is real crazy. And then I was like, man, we're gonna be sisters for life.
Yes.
We're gonna be sisters for life in here. Okay, so Chevy, tell the people, okay, a little bit about you. So, give me a story before military, and then bring us up to today.
Okay, awesome. Yes. So again, thank you so much for having me. And we are like sisters. So just to go back before joining the military, I am born and raised in South America, Guyana. So I was there until I was like 9.5, and then my family. I, I have a big family. It's 9 of us, not including my mom, who was no longer here, and my dad. So it was 11 of us total. So I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. And at the time, it was only 8 kids, and we all transitioned to the United States back in 1991. So I've been in the U.S. since over 30 years now. And when I came here, I was 9, going on 10, and then I called New Jersey home. And growing up in Guyana, it was very. If you think of Jamaica, just picture the same, environment. But back in the 80s, it was totally different. It was very tropical. You can walk down the street and you can pick an actual piece of fruit and just kind of like pick it off the tree and eat it right there, like literally in that moment. Or you can go to
Wow.
the market and get your meat freshly cut up for you. And again, this was in the 80s, and then we came to the US, and then it's like, oh, this is
What's
different.
different?
It's
Just can't pick
different.
pick fruit off a tree and just start eating out here.
No, no.
Wow.
Yeah, so we came to Jersey. So Jersey is my home. I lived in Guyana before we transitioned. I lived in a 1 bedroom home. So it was 10 of us in a 1 bedroom home. So definitely the understatement of being like resilient at a young age, and just looking at how my parents overall made things happen. Because my mom,
Mhm.
she wasn't like a career woman. She was a homemaker where she made stuff to sell. My dad was a in the military in Guyana. He also served as like a guard, like a person who's like was the guard for like a facility and so forth. And that's what he did like majority of his life, even as he transitioned here into the U.S. It was a struggle, but definitely family, love, connection. Like that was the core of us as family members. So that's my background as a kid. And then New Jersey, I call home um, until I joined the military, spur of the moment. But before I get into the military, my best friend from high school, this was our sophomore, no, our junior year, either sophomore or junior year. And she came to me, is like, hey, I'm Siobhan, but I go by Chevy, just to let everyone know. And she was like, hey, we should join the military together. This is I think our 11th, sophomore, was it freshman, sophomore, junior year? It's been a while,
Mhm.
y'all, over
Mhm.
20 years. And I looked at her like, girl, no, it is not for me. Like, I'm not in the military is not for me. And she's like, please, let's talk talk to the recruiter and so forth. I'm like, fine. And again, at this time, I'm like, 17 years of age,
Mhm.
not even thinking, excuse me, got allergies, runny nose.
That's all
And
right.
I said, fine. So we spoke to that recruiter, and I remember his name. He was Staff Sergeant Lennon. And I did like a pre-test, and he was like, "Okay, you did well." I was like, "Okay, that's nice." Again, teenager, you're like, "Okay, that's nice." Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
And a year passed. Graduated high school. I did a summer program at a college, and then I did another year of community college because as teenagers we make some decisions and we look back and like, what was I thinking? And then from there, I called up that same recruiter after a year of graduating high school and said, hey, I think I want to join the military. He was like, okay. And he was like, when you trying to take the test? And I was like, as soon as possible. Now, this was like July, I think either June or July of 2001.
Mhm.
And then the next week I took the ASVAB test, and then from there he was like, and I forgot the day, but it was like late in the evening, and he was like, so what are you gonna do? I was like, I guess I'm joining the military. Like literally spur of the moment. It was nothing planned, and I told my family, and no one believed me because they're like, yeah, right, you're not going to the military. Like and no one believed me. And because that was never a thought for me until my best friend, even when she said it the first time as juniors, I'm like, girl, no. And then
Yeah.
here I am 2 years later. Now I'm 19 years of age, and I made the decision to join it. Even when I told my best friend at the time, She was like, girl, no, you're not. I was like, I'm serious. I'm going in the military. And she was like, you're not going to make it. And the reason she said that was because she was like, you're not going to make it because you don't like people telling you what to do. I said,
Right.
true. But in
Mm-hmm.
that moment, I will adjust and make
Yeah.
things happen. And when I decided to, I left for basic training September 5th.
I hate to interrupt you, but did your persons that said, "Hey, let's go together," did they go too?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I had a girl that said the same thing, girl, and I was like, she went in the army, stayed in a couple of years, and then she was out. So I was like, wait, what happened to you, girl? So did your girl go in?
No, and the reason that she wasn't able to go in because she had asthma. So she was
Uh,
really like she really wanted to go, and then our recruiter was like, she couldn't go because back then if you had asthma, like it was a complete no.
right.
But that was her thing. But she did be, she became a correctional officer, which that's something that she's still doing after 20 plus years. So it's very similar
Yeah.
field. So yeah, so she never joined, but I ended up joining, not wanting to join, and then 22 years later, I retired. I know, it was like I never thought I would, do a whole full 22 years. I was like, okay, let me, because I'm that person like spur of the moment. Like I will take a risk, do the thing, and
Yep.
learn from it, have fun, and then move forward. If it doesn't
Yep.
work out, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But
I
it
I
did.
think we have very similar stories. I just came home with the paper signed, put it on the dining room table, and people were like, "What is this?" And my dad was a recruiter, but not at that time. I mean, his friend was also a recruiter. He's the one who actually put me in service, but he was like, "What are we doing here?" Oh, I'm going into the military, all big bad and everything else. And then you get in there and you be like, what is this?
Oh yes. And what the thing is like my because I was 19 at the time. So I am
Yeah,
that
me
person.
too.
I just made decisions just like, oh, an adult. And so the day I was leaving for basic, my recruiter came and I was like telling my sister just like bye, like regular, like, oh, see you later. He was like, you're not gonna hug, you're not gonna do all this stuff. And I was like, well, we don't do hugs and stuff. I mean, we love each other and we just know it. Like we didn't have a lot of hugging. Now we do.
Yeah.
But when I left and then 9/11 happened, my mom, she was like, who gave her permission to join? And I'm like, well, I was 19 at the time.
Yeah. You can make your
Yeah,
own decisions.
it was just, it's funny because it's like I'm 19, I'm making decisions, for myself. And now my mom, 9/11 happened. She's like, who told her to join? I want my daughter to come home and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. It's very similar. So yeah. And I don't even know. Like I said before, we are, we there is a little age difference, but our experiences are very similar. And I
Very.
just wanted to shout out to our guest that just came on. So we've got Miss Leslie George. Thank you, Madame, for being here tonight, and Latricia. Pink Starburst in the building as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here and listening in. Okay, well, okay, so then you're in the military. And so what was your role in the military?
Okay. So before I joined the military, because everybody gets to pick their jobs or you want to like a specific job. And for me, I didn't have a specific job because I was in that place in Jersey. Like I wanted just something different. And that's why I joined the military. I really wanted something different because in Jersey, I was tired of seeing the same thing. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. So I was tired of seeing, the same crime, the same individuals. And at this point, and I thought I was going to be in college, do the 4 years, but then you make dumb decisions and life happens. So my recruiter, he was like, oh, we have a job for you because I had to wait. I think not until August. He was like, hey, we have a job that came open. And I was like, okay, what is the job? And he was like, the job is services. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, they deal with the dining facility and the fitness center and the lodging. And I'm like, okay. Like I was like, I'm a people person. I love cooking. I love, doing things. I was like, sure. Cause I guess a lot of people would be like, ooh, I don't want to do that specific job, but I was fine with it. And when I came in and joined, my first duty station was Minot, North Dakota. And for me, it was a shocker because one, I'm like, where the hell is North Dakota? That was the first thing. And then my instructor was like, oh, go take a look at the map. And I was like, way up there, you know. And then and then this was 2001. This was around December, January timeframe. I graduated BMT tech school. And then when I got to North Dakota, and it was a whole group of us ended up in North Dakota at Minot. And
that was my fifth or sixth base. So yes. See? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and it was because it's like brand new, tech school, and from training, go to Minot. And I got there and I was assigned to the missile wing, but the way they operated it, you could either be assigned to the 5th bomb wing or the missile to be a missile chef, or you can work in the dining facility or fitness center or lodging. So when I got there, as a no stripes, nothing, like bare sleeves, I was assigned to the dining facility. So I was there as a apprentice working, and then from there I transitioned to different areas, lodging, fly kitchen. So running all the different operations. Still now I have some rank, and then I've deployed twice. Actually deployed and got 4 deploy to another location. Being there about a year, being assigned there. And now 2003, everything, that's when the whole shebang started happening. So another deployment to Baghdad, so different areas, and then from there PCS.
Tell the audience where Baghdad is, because I know some folks don't know.
Okay, that's Iraq area, because yes, area. So so that was a 4-month deployment, I believe. And then we got forward deployed to Balad area as well too. So just and I was young. I think I was a A1C or airman. Yeah, either airman or A1C at the time. I got deployed for the first time. So that was scary. I wasn't married at the time. I was dating. And then got married later on and had our first child. And then PCS to Pope Air Force Base. And then from there, I loved it. And everyone was like, people was like, oh, you're going to No Hope Pope. And I'm like, it's hope for me. I'm leaving North Dakota to go to a bigger city.
Anything is better than North Dakota, y'all.
It is, because honestly, when I got to
Glenroy, I'm sorry, he's on LinkedIn and we can't see his comments, but I can see him on the back end on my phone here. And he said, Lord have mercy, that North Dakota snow is different than that New Jersey snow.
Different. Oh my goodness. It is so different. Like literally it is so different. And people are like, well, you're from Jersey, you should be used. I'm like, no, it's a different type of cold. Like it's -20. And you're still, and as a essential personnel, that means I had to be there. Like I'm literally driving through the snow, could barely see the road. And
listen, I was mission essential too, because I worked in the hospital or in the clinic or whatever it was called at that time. And that snow and that ice out there, and they didn't care. They didn't even care. They're like, where you at? All of us are here. Where you at? I'm like, I got a Honda Civic. I can't drive this Honda Civic out here like this on this snow. And everybody got chains. And it was just a crazy 2.5-year experience for me. I was like, what am I doing out here?
I was there for 4 years and I got reassigned there years later.
Oh, see, no, ma'am.
Yes. And I'm like, why am I going back to Minot? Like I did my tour, like I did my duty.
Because you get batched. I always thought people got batched in with other people, because I had been stationed with some folks at least 3 times in my career at the same base. And I'm like, are we in a batched group? Like they just like take these 10 people and just move them along. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, I think my second time around there was because I was a tech school instructor. So I was, been teaching for the last 4 years, and I was a mandatory mover. So I had to move. And there were on like 3 bases, 3 assignments. And it was like Beale Air Force Base. It was Grand Forks. Minot was up there, up there as well. Actually, no, Minot wasn't even up there. And then it was another base. I think it was Louisiana. And I was like, okay, well, Louisiana, it's a no for me. You
said it's a no for me?
It was a no for me. Barksdale, I was like, no. And then I was like, okay, well, let me pick, Cali. So I picked California. Of course, I didn't get it. And then I'm sitting on my couch at home, and then, you will get the notification. Congratulations, you have an assignment. And it said, welcome to the fifth bomb wing. I said, what?
Mm-mm.
Why am I going back to mine? That I immediately called my chief, and he was like, what? I was like, exactly. Like, it
It's
wasn't
like,
even
what
on
we
the
doing
list.
here? What we doing?
But I think that was more like someone using their
Mm-hmm.
position of power. But
Mm-hmm.
then the good thing, when I got there, I spent the year there, and then I got selected to go to Portugal, non-volunteer for a year. Amazing assignment.
Oh yeah, my dad
Amazing.
was stationed there too. It was a beautiful assignment.
Oh
See,
man,
y'all haven't ever been to Portugal. Like if you want to go on vacation just to get the experience, I would highly recommend that you do that. Like swing into
highly.
Spain, because you can do that kind of route around there. But it's such beautiful, just the water, the hills,
It is gorgeous. The people, the
the people,
food. Oh
the
my
food.
goodness. And the water is like crystal blue,
Yeah.
clear. Uh, a beautiful year. A beautiful year.
See, we didn't like been stationed even at kind of the same bases. Like I
He was at Grand Forks. I was at Minot.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, okay, so fast forward, and so tell the people when you retired.
All right. So I retire. So overall, my career, I was able to, be part of services which dealt with the base, morale. I'll say we were the morale of the base. So anything dealing with your food operations, fitness operations, all of your events on base. I was able to travel to teach different dining facility individuals how to run their operations. I went to Japan, Korea, so that was amazing. I got to teach at PACE, which was the Professional Armed Center of Excellence that recently closed last year, September. And I was able to work at the leader development course as well, where we really focus on developing individuals, leaders, to tap into more of the human domain of leadership. Love that. And then from there, I transitioned. As of April, I had my retirement ceremony this year. I
Yeah.
did my internship with SBCC, which I am a contractor now for, which you're there as well too. And as of October 1st, I became officially retired.
See, y'all, listen, let me tell you this alignment. It's like the universe done dropped her here specifically so we could do this journey together. So we both work for the small business consulting company, facilitating leadership, discussions for first time and intermediate level supervisors. And we both retired 1 October, just different years. I retired 1 October 2021. She retired 1 October 2023.
Yes.
So, yeah, it is very, like, of course we're gonna have this conversation. So, like, y'all need to just buckle up because there will be a lot of talking going on here. And as you hear whatever's going on drops in your heart, spirit, mind, you just want to ask a question or drop a comment in, please do that. I do want to say hey to Miss Tina. All right, Tina 2.0 is in the house. That's what she says. She is 2.0, and that's what she is. So thank you, Tina, for being here and listening in tonight. Okay, so let's just get into some really good conversation about the topics that are near dear to me and what I'm very passionate about and you're very passionate about as well. So the first thing is this leadership. Okay, we've been talking about leadership um, for quite a while. I think both of us have been in leadership roles where we are now the one making the decisions, leading the teams. We're organizing, equipping, training, and we've done this multiple times in so many diverse environments. And so, leadership is about influence. It's about getting folks to do things that they probably don't want to do, but, you know, because you are the leader and you have guided them in such a way that they're just going to go ahead and do it, right? Because they're like, I trust them, I know them, and I believe in them, and so all those things. So in your journey now, because you're now an entrepreneur that is focused on developing women leaders and their teams to excel in their current and future roles. First of all, why are you doing that? And second of all, give us, some really good tips about, leading, and what it is that you really like instill in your clients. You get them to look at and kind of, do an audit on. So let's just talk about that for a minute.
Okay, I had to remind me of I'm going to answer the first question, the why, but
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna
I'll
walk through
remind you.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That was 3 questions in one.
that's
Um,
right.
yeah. Okay. So why am I into entrepreneurship? Number one, before I started Mac Leadership Academy, I used to focus on Mac Wellness. I'm just going to go back a little bit. And before I tap into business, I was dealing with life was happening for me in the sense of, as I'm driven, I love school, like I'm always learning. And as a leader, you want to be always learning. And in 2009, I always wanted to go back to the services schoolhouse to teach. And I finally got that opportunity to do that. And at this time, I was married. My daughter was about 3. She was 3 going on 4. And I think she was 4 at the time, maybe 3 or 4. And we got an assignment to go to Texas. So we were living in Virginia, no, North Carolina to Texas. And I knew I was only going to be there for a year, but I wanted to go and just experience living in Texas because the last time I was there, I was in tech school, which was, about 9 years ago, because this was 2009. So I got there, I'm teaching. At the time, I told my ex-husband, I want to have our second child because my thing was like, when I'm 30, no more
No more
kids, like
children.
no more.
And
Well, I have a 4-year-old now.
how did that work out, Queen?
Didn't work out.
It didn't work.
Well, it did when I was married, but then you
Right.
divorce and you meet somebody new.
Right.
But yeah, so I got there and find out I was pregnant. Perfect, so I was pregnant, and I was like, okay, before my this second child gets here, I want to be done with my master's program. So I'm in a new job. I'm in, going to school 3 days a week because I had to get approval because it was like, okay, you're working a new job, you're pregnant, and you want to finish, your degree. And then I have a 4-year-old at home, then a husband. It was a lot, but at that time I'm like, I can handle this. And then I
Yeah.
was teaching back to back because now we're pushing through, X amount of students, 26 students per class. And then we're also breaking down the schoolhouse because now this entire schoolhouse, we're taking it from Lackland, San Antonio, Texas, to now Fort Lee, Virginia. So it was a lot of moving parts. I got, finished up my master's, had my son, and also I was studying for promotion at the time for tech. So all of those great things happened. I got my degree, I got promoted. My son came, he was healthy, 8 pounds. But the crazy thing is, and then sometimes we get these signs and we get these feelings, in our bodies that we ignore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing just that because I'm used to just going. And I think so many women who are very driven, who feel like, we can continue to go like the Energizer Bunny. We don't really stop and rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do that because I'm used to going, and now we're PCSing again. So I'm getting the house situated. I'm traveling to, buy a house in Virginia with a newborn. And all of that led to vertigo, which led to anxiety. And that kind of took me into the space of, blogging about my journey. And that's when I started talking more about, my anxiety, my wellness. And that's how Mac Wellness came about. And then I made the pivot to really focus on, because I wanted to make sure, okay, I love wellness, but I love leadership as well too. I'm very passionate about leadership. So let me combine the two. And then I decided to just kind of make Mac Leadership Academy as the forefront, but also the wellness piece is in the back where you still get that as well too. So for me, it's just a passion. It's something that I'm excited about because I love to help people, with the impact. Like I love to make an impact, but because I love to help people create, develop, and get the thing that they want.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just go on back
I
to
know.
all the things, okay? Because I think that is important for us to talk to because our audience is mostly Black women that come
Mhm.
here to the space. All right. And Glenroy, he just flipped from LinkedIn to Facebook because he's like, I need to get over here because the comments are showing up over here. And he is saying this is especially true for Black women. All right. Because we take on so much because we think we got to do it all. It's
Mhm.
somewhat in our DNA. All right.
Yes.
Because we have been conditioned from history, okay, we just go all the way back in time to be the one who produces, takes care, nurtures, cares, all the things. And so we just take on more responsibilities than we absolutely need to. So, in your moment when you're like, my body is not feeling good and I need rest, what exactly was that feeling? Because so for folks that are actually kind of going through this, they need to understand and recognize these symptoms.
Oh yes, definitely. Just thinking about this, like I'm going back in time, and I remember I would be breastfeeding and I would feel lightheaded. I would, start walking and I would feel lightheaded. And I was not nourishing my body enough,
Mm,
especially the fact that I was breastfeeding. And I was just breastfeeding, like he wasn't on any bottles or anything, like no formula, it was just milk. Well, my breast milk.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's just like the little, like dizziness. It was a sign of vertigo, but I didn't know what the call it vertigo. I was just felt very like burning sensation in my ears. I will feel hot and flutter. But those were the signs that I experienced during that time. And at that time, I just kind of chucked it up, like, like brace myself against the wall and then continue on
Mm,
until vertigo happened, and then the room is spinning. I'm in the emergency room, and then that fear all led to anxiety for several years, and that's why I got into really focusing on my wellness to make sure that I was, because I felt like I was going crazy in here because of the thoughts and everything that came about just from that one trigger.
yeah, man. And that's so important for us then to give our bodies what it needs. And you said you needed rest. You just needed to lay down, not even just go to sleep. It's probably just to clear your mind and just, collect your thoughts as they were coming through instead of them all being jumbled together and just saying, oh, we'll just go on to the next. Now, Glenroy, his wife, is working on her doctorate, and she did the interview for the job she's currently in outside the church before her mother's funeral. If there's
Mm,
any demographic of women that will take away any excuse, it's Black women. All right. So, the more and more we start to talk about this, the more and the more that we have to like understand we don't have to do everything.
we don't.
We
We
don't,
don't.
and it's okay to say no because no is a full sentence, right?
It is.
And I think sometimes we don't want to say no because we really think inside that we can just do it. We have it in us. We just do it. Gut it out and then we'll worry about it on the back end.
Like for me, I can say no to other people, but
Yeah.
for me, when I want something,
Yeah.
I'm going after it. Like I'm going to work hard, because even during that time, like I made the decision, and I had the conversation with my ex-husband. I said, "Okay, we're going to be here for the year." And again, this is me like, "Okay, I can hold down the fort until we move." And I told him, "Go to school for the year." So financially, I was the breadwinner. I was the one going to school. I was the one, managing the home. Yes, he helped out, picking up, our daughter and so forth. I was the one, working still. So a lot of that I put that on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what we have to make sure that we are also reflecting and taking ownership of all the things that we are choosing to do.
Yeah. That's true. That's really true. So in this wellness journey of yours, so you're now, because I remember it was Mac Wellness,
Yes.
and then you started to, evolve as we do in our businesses, and then you started getting into the leadership realm.
Yes.
So was there a certain incident, or you just said, well, maybe I should just go over here? Like, how did you get to that?
Okay, so again, being ambitious, I'm like, oh, I want to do both. So on my social media, I'm like, wellness, leadership. I'm the leadership and wellness coach. But then you have to figure out, okay, who am I talking to? Am I
Right.
talking to women who are dealing with anxiety? Am I talking to women who want leadership development? And I had to decide. I had to make a choice. And I think sometimes we don't want to make a choice because we want to do it all. And we can do it all. And I heard this quote the other day from this lady on Instagram, and she talked about, she's like, we women, we can have it all, but not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
And I said, that is so true. And that is a great reminder. Like, focus on what is it that you are trying to go after in this moment. And then you can add on to, with different things. So I decided, and then also I had, coaches, I invested in coaches, and, they even asked like, okay, Shevvy, which one do you want to focus on more? I was like, well, I love leadership. I have more experience in leadership, because I really tapped into the wellness piece because of my experience of what I went through with anxiety and how I use, exercise and food and my mindset to shift out of that. So I just kind of made the decision, I made the decision to just go full on into leadership. But the wellness piece is still there because anyone that works with me, they get that bonus of working with me, which is a wellness piece. Because for me, it's the holistic approach, not just develop yourself as a leader, but how are you developing yourself personally and how are you taking care of yourself overall?
Yeah, 100,000%. Because, you've heard my spiel about this before, but, in the military, they teach us just the 4 elements, right? They teach us spiritual, social, physical, and emotional, right? They give us these 4, and they said, get after it, right? Like, figure out how these things, if you need to improve in any of these areas. And I was like, that's great. But when I retired, I was like, man, there was so much more that I needed to be looking at and focusing more on, because finances are huge.
Oh,
Your
yes.
your environment where you're at, the work that you're doing, whether or not it's meaningful or purposeful driven, as well as what are you feeding your brain. So,
100%.
so financial, environmental, occupational, and intellectual wellness, those are the 4 things as well, right? Go ahead.
Yes. I
I
wanted
know you're not,
no,
you're
that
like at the
financial
church
piece.
fair.
That financial piece is, and I think as we transition, because I am 2 months in of my transition,
Yeah.
and I'm so used to seeing that paycheck every first and 15.
Uh,
And in my mind, because it's for the last 22 years, that is what I'm used to. And then come the 15, I'm spending as if I am still receiving 2 paychecks. And I had to talk to my partner. I'm like, babe, I was like, is only one lump sum? He's like, yes. I was like, why did I think I was about to get another paycheck on the 15th? I said, I need to make sure that I am tracking my money a lot. Like I can't be spending like I have another big check coming in like before. I had to laugh. Like we laugh. He's like, babe, no, like you're not.
you know what? And I had to ask Dominique too, because he had retired a couple of years before me. And I guess I was just so into the job that I wasn't even thinking about it, right? Because I was still getting my paycheck. So when
Exactly.
mine stopped, I was like, I asked him, I said, we don't get paid on the 1st and the 15th. And he's like, no, we get paid on the 1st. And that's the whole money for the rest of the month. So all this spending that you doing over here, you think you balling, going out and doing X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna need you to like slow down.
Oh yes.
I almost felt financially insecure.
Really?
I did, because I was so used to getting a paycheck 1st and 15th for 30 years. And that mentality, that mindset is ingrained in you, and you're so conditioned to it. You're just like, wow, they don't care about me no more.
Okay, I didn't think that. I was like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm not spending like I have another several thousands of dollars coming in on the 15th. I just told my kid, I'm like, hey, turn that light off because
That's what Dominique does around here. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna need you to calm down with these lights. He's like, turn the lights off. You know, why is that
yeah,
water running? What's all this stuff? I'm like, oh my God, no. It's not like we're like hurting or anything, but
no,
these are some things that you start to think about because it's different now.
it
It's
is.
much different. So those four um extra wellness pieces are so important. And then I got Glenroy. He says everything is possible to achieve, but everything has its own time in the journey.
Yes, I love
Yes.
that.
And then he's also saying military spiritual peace is based on who you consume spirits with,
Mm.
at least in maintenance. I know, Glenroy, y'all a hot mess over there. And then because I was his first sergeant at one
Got
time.
you.
Yeah.
Got you.
And then the bridge job on the way out is key. Yes, it is. Because when that 100% VA hits, is a very beautiful thing. Yes. And so we got the bridge job. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Because I felt like that was, I know I'm not going to speak for you, Chevy, but I feel like this is an opportunity for us to fuel our businesses and not having to take money from our a retirement fund or a disability so that way we could use this extra money to like build our empires because that's what we're doing. We're building empires now. So yeah, I
Yes, and
absolutely agree.
sometimes, yeah, it is definitely having that bridge job because before I got the bridge job, I was using my own funds, bootstrapping, my business, investing in different things. But
Yep.
now that I'm out of the military, now I can really leverage my time, my energy to put forth into my business and bring in more revenue without extending myself beyond capacity because it is challenging when you're working a full-time job, you have a family, you have a home you have to maintain, plus you're trying to start your business. But if you believe in your business and you feel like this is not just a one-off and okay, I'm done, but you are
Mm-hmm.
passionate about it, like even through the ups and the down, the tears and the challenges, like you
Lots of
still
tears, y'all.
and even if you're like, I want to give up, it's not, nothing is happening, I don't see no financial, I'm investing all this money, like you have to stick with it because if you, for me, I'm gonna speak for me, but I've invested, I've had coaches without a return of investment, but I know some people would have been like, forget it, I'm done investing, but not me because I have a bigger vision for Mac Leadership Academy, like I really do. So yes.
Yeah. So hey y'all, if you're still here with us, if you drop in, and you're not quite sure where we're at, all right, before you do anything else, all right, I need you to subscribe, okay, and then I need you to share all this good information that's here. So we're talking a little bit about transitioning, and for us it was transitioning from the military, but this could speak to anyone who is transitioning from a long career. We're also talking about leadership, just not leadership from you working, but also some leadership, because I think that is bread and butter. It's a foundational, element or principle that you use every single day. You don't have to have a position or title to be quote unquote a leader.
Hmm.
Okay. And then we talked a little bit about wellness. Okay. Because I think wellness is so, so important. And, we talked about, a little bit about the physical and, eating the right foods and getting enough rest and, those types of things, listening to your body when things are happening and getting them checked out to see exactly what's going on. Okay. So now let's just get into this mindset thing because,
Hmm.
um, there's a lot of noise out here, y'all. There's a lot of noise about people and their the way that they think. All right. Um, and there's a lot of negativity going on. Um, and posts and feeds. Listen, if you're in my feed and you talking a whole bunch of mess, I just block you. Okay. I just delete you and I block you and I just keep moving. All right, because I'm not in that mindset right now. I have a very, and Chevy knows, I call it like this, high frequency. Okay. High frequency. This low vibration down up in here. We just talking about any old thing. I'm just not into that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you look at your mindset, like you talk about the neuroscience, like the reasons behind how we think. And so give us a little bit about what your thoughts are on that.
When it comes to the way we think, everything that we are thinking, we're generating.
Mm-hmm.
We're the generator of our thoughts. So whether you see a post that is negative and you take it in as, oh, they're attacking me, you just generated a different feeling, a different type of energy because of what you just read.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you get worked up for, or you feel like you need to be, sad or angry, everything is generated by you. And the reason I'm saying this because when I was going through with my anxiety, I generated a lot of different thoughts, negative thoughts, unhealthy thoughts. But then I had to shift a different part of my brain by shifting what I started saying to myself mentally,
Mm-hmm.
and also when I was thinking as well too. Because if you're just sitting there and you're thinking like, oh my, because this is what I did with my anxiety. I would be sitting there thinking like, oh my God, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. I'm about to have an anxiety, panic attack, or the vertigo is going to come back. I kept thinking it's going to come back, and the more I did that, the more anxious I became.
Mm.
But when I learned how to start using exercise, because that shifts, your brain,
Mm-hmm.
that helps me to start, oh, now a different part of my brain, different chemicals is being released. So now instead of me being worried, oh, I'm happy. Dopamine is hitting me.
Mm.
And not saying that it was all the time, but I noticed a shift where every time I exercise, I felt better
Yeah.
mentally. And
Yeah.
then I started shifting what I was saying to myself. Even looking in the mirror, I would tell myself some affirmations every day. I would play certain songs that were more uplifting and motivational instead of listening to something that was more depressing. Because again, everything that you're generating and you listen to impacts your brain,
Yeah.
impacts your thoughts, which impacts your actions. So you are the drive for everything that you think about, everything that you generate in your head. You are the drive for that. But you have to decide, am I going to allow this part of my amygdala, which is the fear brain, to take over? Because that is what's happening when I was going through my anxiety. My amygdala was activated, which is the back of your brain. And the lower part, when your lower part of your brain has taken over, then you're not able to really function. You're not able to make decisions. You're not able to have the quality of life that you're used to. And I've been through that. You probably have in certain, in the military. But we figure out, how do we get out of that state? And sometimes people try to get out because it is challenging. Like shifting your mindset
Mm-hmm.
is challenging, from the negative thoughts to making it more back to your normal self. It takes time, because it took me several years to get out of that anxiety state
Yeah.
and not feel anxious going into Walmart, or feel like when I walked in, I had to walk right back out because now I can't breathe. I feel
Mm.
like I'm suffocating. But I had to work on my mindset, like what I was telling myself every single day.
Yeah. I love the whole, it's strategies, and it's about acknowledgement too, like being very self-aware of what is happening and counteracting. Because I wrote down here, like, when you change your thinking, you change your actions. And these are behaviors, and maybe they're past behaviors that you used before to cope, and they weren't good.
Mhm.
And now you've got to find some new behaviors that will help you to come up out of whatever situation you're in. And this is, you can name it to a whole lot of different things that are out there, or something that you're experiencing. I know for me, y'all, I'm going through pre-menopause, or maybe full menopause. It's the same thing. I can think of a hot flash in a minute, and I'll be up in here just pouring sweat. But if I calm down, if I really take it easy, if I drink, cool water, if, there are certain methods that we can use to help ourselves to calm down. And in entrepreneurship, the anxiety level can just take control. It can go all out of whack. So let's see here. Glenroy, I want to acknowledge you because you are just dropping the gems
Yes,
tonight.
he is.
That invest in yourself will take time, finances, and effort. Your return on investment is contingent on what you decide to put into it, or those on the peripherals that understand and believe in your ideas. Yes. And then he also shares with us what we allow our minds to dwell on, it manifests,
Yes.
especially when it comes to anxiety and physical health. Absolutely. And
Oh,
so,
yes.
go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, when I was focused on wellness, I, created a course. It was called Change Your Mind, Change Your Wellness. And this is something that I provided at the Development Center for Individuals. And it definitely shifted people's mindset. People will be in there because it was very more reflective on for them to think and see themselves in different ways and taking care of their well-being. And there will be people in there, just kind of going through this activities and just crying because of life that was
Yeah.
happening, and they were dealing with anxiety and different things. And one thing I want to share, we all have thousands and billions of neurons in our head, and every thought that we generate, they're speaking to each other.
Mm.
So imagine that everything that you think about sends a signal in your brain, which sends a message. It's like you have this one neuron that said ping, we're scared. Not every message in your brain is like, oh, we're scared. But if you switch that message, say, oh, you know what? I feel a little scared, but guess what? I'm not. Now that signal sends that new signals out to the brain to millions of neurons, and it's like, okay, we're safe. So everything is a signal that you're sending to your brain every single time that you generate a thought. So keep in mind, how often am I generating a negative thought, which
Mhm.
leads to anxiety, which leads to me being depressed, which leads to me being, fearful of stepping into something that I would love to do, or leaving my home as well too. So everything is generated by you. And I
Yeah.
know the environment impacts, of course.
Yeah.
The environment definitely that you're in definitely impacts your overall well-being, but you can also work around that as well too.
Yeah. Just like fire some folks.
You can
Because we just
fire, but also you have to look at how. You, yes, and maybe you're not in a position where you can fire the person, but you have to look at how can I tap into my emotional intelligence to
yep.
where I don't allow this person negativity to impact my energy, to take me from 1 to 10. Because I work with people in the military who was toxic leaders, is like, dude, or a woman, like why are you here? Why are you not
You
retired?
said, why are you here? What's your
Yes.
purpose? What? What's
Yes, like you're just
wow.
causing chaos. Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
some people like the drama, girl. Some
They
people
do.
they live for that stuff.
They
They just
live
get a
for it.
rise out of it, and they just like how the situation is out of control. Once you get a
Sad.
little older and mature, you're like, we're not doing that.
We're not.
We're not
No.
doing that anymore. Perlissa said that's good thinking. Perlissa is going to be a future guest on the show, so she gonna be right in here talking too. So we're gonna have a bigger conversation about all of this when she gets on in a couple of weeks. Okay, so I know we're an hour in, but we still got us some things to talk about. All right, so are you good, Chevy?
I am good. I already gave a warning for the family. I'm going live. So
Don't
y'all
be
don't
coming in here.
interrupt.
The sign is on the door. The door is locked. Okay,
Yeah,
so
the door is locked. I don't have a sign yet, but I will get a sign because my
yeah.
4-year-old will be up here. Mommy, I want to give you a hug. I want to show you my shoes.
Oh no. Girl, we should have a whole episode on having children later in life and what was going on with that, right? Like what were we thinking when we had these children?
Ooh, I was done
You
at 2, but God said, here's another one for
Here's
you.
another one for you. Okay, Glenroy. All right, Glenroy. Just a nugget based on her comment about creating the course. Anything you create that is a system program, make sure you keep the blueprint unless you are compensated for it. Okay, look, Glenroy, I'm a believer in ensuring intellectual property is compensated for is continually utilized when or if you leave an organization. Okay, you gonna get the clapper, Glenroy. I got my little pink clapper here. Intellectual property. Okay, because it don't matter if you got a business or not. Stuff that you're creating is something of your own. So you're absolutely right, and we have to take the proper measures, whatever that is, to secure that. So
Yes, and that was
we
my own initiative. That was not part of the organization. That was part of Mac Wellness.
right,
While yes, and I
right.
used my resources to create that, and I coordinated to have the classes based because it's something that I wanted to do and give back. But no, but
Yes.
thanks for that, Glenroy. Definitely, I'm with you 100%.
Yes. And Perlissa says you have to do strategic thinking and planning of who you allow in your space to pull from your energy. Yes, ma'am. All right. We are always in the strategicness of what we do because we can't have folks pulling us down because we have so much to do yet in this world. So one of the things that I always, I talk to Shevvy a lot about, leaving a legacy. All right, and what that requires and what should we be doing, in the legacy. So what legacy are you trying to leave, Chevy?
That's a great question, Rochelle. So I was watching this girl. She does YouTube, videos, and she was talking about college or GovCon, and she was saying, about her legacy that she plans to sell her business in the next 5 years because her daughter wants to be a veterinarian, and her son will probably go off to college because so many family members or business owners are like, "Oh, I want to leave this business for my kids," and does your kids really want to have your business? Like that is the question. Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe one or two might laugh. Yes, but in the I
I
would
tell you
say
what, Chevy, my son is probably not going to be wanting to have Slate to success. I'll just say it.
exactly, exactly. So for me, my legacy is created something bigger. Whether that's I don't see my kids owning my business, but I
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure they profit long term from the business when I sell it. Because my legacy is to create allow Mac Leadership become an organization, a big company that really supports organizations and businesses when it comes to developing women leaders, especially. But if they're looking for training for their team members, I want it to be like the school. Like you send your folks when they need leadership development, you send them when they need mindset shifting, you send them when they need wellness, like all of the leadership and development, coaching, training. I want Mac Leadership Academy to be the hub for that. So that is a legacy, whether I transition to one of my kids or I sell it to a company to continue that legacy beyond me and beyond my kids. But they will reap the fruit of that labor long term. That is my vision.
Yeah. So when you say that, and some people think that's like big, and they're like, how in the world is that happening? Like, tell us a couple of things that you're doing right now.
Right now, I am in the business. I am making, connections. I have opportunities for partnership. Also, I'm being visible. I am being visible, which is key. I am not just saying, oh, I have a business, but nobody knows about it. Your girl is out here, okay? Like whether I'm on
And believe
LinkedIn.
in me, y'all, I make sure Chevy out there because I'm like, Chevy, I'm out here, you out here. And she says the same. I'm out here. I said, I'm out here
Let's
too.
get it. Let's get it. So, number one is being visible and sharing about my company. Whether I'm going to a networking event, I'm going to conferences, like I am putting my business out there. Whether I'm going live here on LinkedIn, I am sharing as much about Mac Leadership Academy. I'm investing in Mac Leadership Academy by investing in myself, attending training, attending conferences, and then also education as well too. And then looking at how can I leverage partnerships where I can make it bigger, create bigger opportunities, whether that's coming in and doing training for organization. It's just getting the word out about Mac and being strategic about it, not just allowing any and anybody to be partner with. Number one, because I don't need everybody. I just need the right person, a person of integrity, a person of quality, a person who is for the win-win and not just winning for themselves.
Right.
So yes, is it's those are the things that I'm doing now to make sure that I'm creating this legacy for Mac Leadership Academy.
And this is all about personal branding. So this would be, a little bit of a mini discussion about this personal branding. So when she said she's out there, she's you telling people what she's doing or whatnot, and she's going here and there, collecting testimonies, going back and asking for feedback. That's building your reputation. All
Yes.
right. So when you're outside of the uniform, some of us, okay, I know some of us depend on that uniform for a whole lot of things, because if we go into an area or a certain place, we just, say, hey, I'm retired, so and so. Let me tell you something right here, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna need you to like pull back, fall back. Okay. Because not a lot of people understand that when you go into some of the spaces, if you're trying to create a legacy and build a bigger business, that's with other people outside of what you already know. And so it's going to take courage. It's going to take you constructing your brand story, walking in your brand, and communicating your brand. All right. So you see us on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, get a profile, get a profile in there if you're looking to up level, okay, and to build connections, because that's where people are now for the professional side of building. And even if you don't have a business, this is just building you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like giving people the skills that you have, because we have a lot of transferable skills
Oh, a
and
lot.
a lot, a lot.
Honestly, the fact that you said it's like I look at my resume that I created, and I'm just like, there's so much that I can do. There's so many different pots of things that I can do. And that's I'm like, I had to decide, okay, let me focus on leadership because I want to do this, I want to do that. And that will cause you, a lot of money. So if you're getting into business, stay focused. That is key. Stay focused.
Yes, because everything's a shiny penny out here.
It
Okay,
is.
so you can get down in a rabbit hole. All right, and if you're very vision focused, so one of the things, the key elements I think to add on about staying, on the course or staying on the path, and just really doing the same things almost literally every single day, but doing them constantly. The one word that I chose for this year was elevate. That was my word. And then I attached meanings to each one of those letters. So, endless opportunities,
Mhm.
leveraging connections, empowering myself daily, vision focus, amplifying my worth, taking immediate action, and embracing change. Literally, by having this one word, it changes everything, your perspective, your insight. It's like the goal. What do you say you wanted to do for the year?
It
So
goes right to
I
your mindset.
It is. That's why I encourage everybody to like pick either a word or a phrase or something that's going to keep them going. And and again, this is not about a business thing.
It's
It's
a
just about
life thing.
it's a life thing. This is lifestyle. Because things can go all kinds of crazy. Believe we've had, so many life experiences
Mhm.
happen over this past year alone. And the year ain't done.
It's not.
It's not. But when we can pick ourselves up and keep our motivation high on our own without having other people doing it for us,
Hmm.
it's a different look. So, yeah.
And I would say with the brand thing too, confidence is
Uh,
key because even like I went to the Chambers of Commerce last week and being a new member, I had to introduce myself. And part of that brand is showing up confidently. Yes, you may be nervous and internally like a little bit, nervous, but when you get up on that mic and introduce yourself and talk about your company, you want to make sure that you're doing it with confidence because that's part of your brand. And
yeah.
just from that opportunity of me getting up and saying, "Hey, I'm Shevvy Mac, the founder of Mac Academy. We support, partners and organizations, to, further develop their women leaders." 3 people was like, "I need to work with you.
Yeah.
I need to, we need to connect. There's a collaboration opportunity." Because it's my confidence, but also my belief in myself and my business to show up.
Yes.
Because by just having conversation, I am building my company's brand.
Yeah. And then, like, when you say that, a lot of people don't understand that 30-second commercial or that elevator pitch or, whatever you wanted to call it. But you have to have it so succinct and clear on what you do because you're doing social selling right there. You're trying, you're not trying. The goal is to have people to invest in what you're doing. And
Yeah.
again, this could work if you're in your next career and you're trying to go into something new. You need to have your pitch. Who are you? What are you about? And what can you bring to the table? You know?
Oh yes.
So I think sometimes we don't really look into that and see even just that little thing right there is a game changer. It's
Yes.
a
And I
game
would
changer.
and I would just add, Rochelle, is we as business owners, and we're like, well, I have multiple things that I do in my business. I have multiple things in Mac Leadership Academy, but I lead with one. I
Yes.
lead with one, the core thing, which
Yep.
is leadership development to further develop women leaders in my Go Beyond Management Leadership Training Program.
Yeah.
So decide which is the which one of your program you would love to have as the forefront to model the rest.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Glenroy got another one. You have to be willing to be a lifelong student of many things. I went from being a helicopter crew chief, yes, you did, to a welfare worker, to a welfare fraud investigator, to a labor investigator, to a cannabis compliance investigator, to now managing a program for Nevada's cannabis regulatory agency, all utilizing something I learned in the military and along the way. Nothing to do with my degrees. Ain't that something?
Oh yes, it
Uh,
happens all the time.
it happens. Remember, we had a conversation about doctor's degree.
Oh yes,
And you were like, I started mine, and I was like, oh, okay.
you
I was
like
like,
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
Like honestly, I started my degree. I did 6 classes, and since I paused, you have to pay the loan back. And I'm
Yeah,
looking at this loan payment. I'm like, yeah, the next time I enroll, I want a scholarship. Like I'm not taking out money out of my pocket to pay for school. And that was my first time because all my masters, my bachelor's, and my associates all came through the military, which was amazing. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. But for
yeah.
doctoral, I'm like, I can't afford another. Mm-mm.
Oh, girl, it is. I mean, Dominic went and got his doctor's degree, and yeah, it was a doozy. But then, I'm like, well, what would I do with my doctor's degree? All I would have is doctorate. I'm not saying that I won't go do it.
Yes,
Like,
of
I
course.
might sometime, think in the future, maybe. But for right now, for what I'm doing right now, I don't think it's necessary for
It's
what
not.
I'm doing right now.
It's
So,
not.
maybe 10 years from now,
I
when
don't know,
mama's
but
sitting on the chair.
okay. I love like I said, I love like I'm an educator. That's why, when
Yeah,
I'm coaching, I'm teaching, coaching, and educating. It's not just coming, you get a little piece. You're gonna be and I love being in the classroom. I love being whether it's virtual or in person. So I
yeah,
can see myself finishing up my doctoral probably in the next 5 years or so. Or less. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
agree. Okay, so I have to acknowledge Dwayne's here in the building. Thank you, Dwayne, for listening in on LinkedIn. I appreciate you being here. So, as we're wrapping up, you will always be a chief and not just the E9. Look, okay, Glenroy, I had a many of scars, and them bruises along the way, and I was like, what, what, what are you saying to people? Like, and you're not following through with that and being the example. We're not going to do that. And I definitely did not want to go out being an E9. That is just that is the total, like, for me anyway, like, what is happening here. You
Mhm.
would never want to go out as an E9. That is somewhat derogatory, and it is I don't know, for my spirit, it would just hurt my spirit. So thank you so much. Yes, and I'll always be your chief. Rochelle. Okay. So as we're leaving out here, because we could be on here for a couple hours, but we definitely need to like do some business stuff because that's what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
So as we're closing up our conversation, what more would you add? What are kind of some lasting thoughts that you want to give to our audience?
Yeah. So as you navigate, as this is for anyone, but definitely especially for my women leaders, as you navigate in your current role, there's a lot that you're dealing with. So the first thing that I would love for you to tap more into is your self leadership. Not in
Mm,
the sense of how you're going to be, leading in the organization or even in your business, but how you're really taking care of yourself so you can lead yourself and lead others. Like really tap into that self leadership piece, and that's with your mindset. That's your well being. That's how you love on yourself. That's how you talk to yourself. That is how you get to excel in your role. Is really focusing on your self leadership. Like that is
yeah.
key, and that's why in my what I focus on with women is not just coming in and develop your leadership skills only. It's like, okay, let's tap into the self leadership first. Let's look at how am I regulating my emotions, because when life is happening, I'm stressed out and I'm ready to cuss somebody out at
All
the
the way out.
job. How do I regulate myself to make sure that I continue to remain some type of balance and still correct that person in the way that they need to be corrected without losing your shit in the process?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they will test you, because I've been there. They will test you. So
Yeah.
definitely focus on your self leadership, your emotional intelligence, and also identify your blind spots. Like identify your blind spot, because sometimes you may be the problem that is
Mm-hmm.
impacting your growth.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And for the whole month of December, y'all, all I'm going to be talking about is your audit plan. Okay. So on all my socials, you're going to hear about a personal leadership skills audit plan because I think it's a perfect time before you go into the new year that you do some self evaluation, especially if you're leading in today's world. There's a lot going on. And like you said, women that are in leadership roles, you're leading in systems that are broken. Okay. They're broken. And so when you're trying to navigate these broken systems, you can easily get caught up where you're not really taking care of yourself because you're losing sight of
Mm-hmm.
really why you're there and what you need to be doing. So yeah, I am 100,001% on board with you. In fact, we did have an opportunity that we were offering for leadership, um, a 3 series leadership. What was it called? Program, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be offering that later on as well. But it is just important that we just stop and think about it for a hot second and what we're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Roy said, Tupac and Smokey Norfolk will get you through the toughest days.
I have to look Smoky Norfolk up because I've
Me
never heard
too.
of
I
him.
don't know, I'm a Tupac fan, but I don't know about Smokey. I have to look up Smokey. And hey, Dr. Beckwith, my sister from another mister, good evening to you as well. Thank you for sliding up in here. We are almost to the end here. Well, we've talked a lot,
Mm-hmm.
okay, about leadership, wellness, mindset, some little personal branding, and just getting through the last thoughts of the evening. I Need You Now is Smokey Norfolk, praise and worship singer.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay, yeah, yeah. Look, we
I've
know
heard the song, but I didn't know who the.
we just didn't know the artiste. Okay. So thank you for enlightening us
Yeah.
because we need to know that. But yes, yes, I Need You Now is one of those songs that probably should be played every day.
Yeah. That's funny.
And Perlissa, she validates that
Okay.
that's right.
Okay. Okay. Let me write that down.
Yeah, right. Okay, y'all. Well, we are gonna close this up. Okay. And all I know right now is that the whole purpose of this was just to really give you insight on these amazing people that I have in my life. And Chevy is just one of the many, but she is up there, y'all, because I talk to her almost every day. Well, not almost. We do talk every day.
Every day.
Every day we on this thing, all right? Maybe, and sometimes 5 and 6 times a day, just bouncing off ideas. So I highly recommend, if you don't have an accountability partner or somebody that understands you and your journey and where you're at and where you want to go, just to got to clear your mind, you need to get a person's. Okay, that's one of the tips that I would offer. I also have this again. Here is the QR code for all the Slate to Success happenings. Everybody's always asking me, well, what's going on? What's the next event? What's happening here? Well, go ahead and scan the QR code and you can get all of the information. I will send you some weekly emails with a lot of information. Just go ahead and click on the QR code. And then um, Chevy and I will be bouncing out of here. One more thing. Great conversation. Can I get Miss Chevy to drop her business info in my LinkedIn so I can blast it? Yes, she will.
Yes.
Blessings to you all and peace. Yes, absolutely. So follow her. Okay. Follow her, follow her, follow her. All right. She's usually got yellow and greens going on in her and black in her things. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, can I just share? So yes, if thank you for that, Glenn Roy. But definitely my doors are open for my Go Beyond Management Leadership Training Program. This is a program where you will come through, and whether that's one-on-one support, where I guide you. We focus on self-leadership, we focus on emotional intelligence, we focus on blind spot, we focus on leading teams, creating a healthy workplace culture, because all of that is what these are things that you're going to need so that you can excel on not only your current role but your future role as well too. And also, if you would love to just kind of connect with me on LinkedIn, just Shevvy Mac, SHEVVYMAC. I would love to connect with you. And if you would love to have me in your organization to do training, definitely reach out. I'll be happy to come in and share with you, either create something or share my Go Beyond Management Leadership Training Program. And this is what I love to do, y'all. And I have the time now and the capacity now that I'm retired. So reach out, connect, and let's see what opportunities come from that, what collaboration may come from that.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Rochelle Slay Queen, for having me on here. You know, I'm your biggest supporter. Thank you for showing light on me and what I do in Mac Leadership Academy. I definitely appreciate it. So thank you.
Absolutely. This ain't the first or the last time, my queen, that we're gonna have a conversation. Okay. So
Yes.
get ready for the next few months because we just got a lot going on. And so we just want to be able to share and come back. And I want you to share and give some updates. So, we'll put you back in the rotation so that way everybody can hear, hey, what's going on and what have you learned in your journey. So you got anything last?
Yes. Are you able to drop my LinkedIn profile, the link? But because I don't think I can leave a comment in here.
Let's see here. I think I can drop it into the LinkedIn.
Yes,
Um, and I'll
in the
just put,
chat.
yeah, I'll just put your I'll just put it in the chat and then people can see that when they go through there. So they have it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know me, like the technical, just call
Yes,
me
because
techie over
I need
here.
to get on your level for my StreamYard, like all the
All
the
the
banner
things
going
are
across.
happening.
No, I love it. I love it.
Give me
No.
enough time. Give me time. And this is what I do, y'all. I just go through things. So, all right. Well, it was great having you here on this show. Next Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have another guest here speaking to you all. So you do not want to miss this conversation because he is my dear friend. And his name is Manny Pinero. And so if you know him, then you know that he is always on the go. But he is taking the time out to talk to us next week. So, and then, I think next week after that, I have Misty Cook and then Perlissa Wilson. So this thing is going to just keep on moving. All right. So
Yes.
you're welcome. You're welcome, Dr. Beckwith. Rhonda. Absolutely. You're welcome, Perlissa. We'll see you all next weekend. So keep on slaying until you
Bye,
can't slay
everyone.
no more.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Peace out, y'all. Love y'all. Bye-bye.